But if you're something that you really feel like strong about, the summer program, these trade programs, I mean, I think we're willing to listen. And if we need to increase budget or decrease budgets, now the time or sooner the better for us. But that's kind of what we have. Maybe the next public hearing is public hearing on this for the tax rate is September 5th, approval of the budget on September 4th. So.
All right, council, do you have any other questions?
I just think we just need to take a look at our priorities, where we're headed, and move forward on the development, the economic development, so we can start bringing in other businesses and stuff like that, and increase there, and
Yep.
we have to tackle that. We want to move forward, we're gonna have to really move on it.
And so, Fred, some of these budgetary increases that we talked about, when will we prioritize and present those?
Well, Mayor, again,
It's tonight?
Time is now. If you have priorities, I mean, we budgeted, we made a proposed budget, I think, and the council probably had it, I don't know, when did we get it? The 31st. So you had
Okay.
it for,
Okay, so, council, some of these, there's some equipment, which we're gonna get a chance to look at that number a little bit separately, but some of these line items have been requested to be increased. So, if we go in increasing them right now, these guys have gotta figure out how we're gonna pay for that, because right now we've got.
With the street budget, I mean, right now, we just have, we have $300,000. I'd like to budget more, but right now, that's what's in. We have, and again, going over just some details, not significant details, but just, our biggest increases are, there's some the salaries, but it's primarily the streets. We have some added positions, trying to go over some of the meat and potatoes, but there are some increases to budgets that you've seen, that we budgeted for. I just, on that end, if y'all have any suggestions of wanna see increases or decreases to budgets, please let us know, because I don't have any.
So you're saying now is the time?
Yeah, if you have any budget increases or decreases, if you wanna see more added to the budget, or, then we find ways to address those changes.
There was the items not included in there. One of those things, Council Fred and I have been in discussion about is the EMS contract with the county. That's still not addressed in our budget?
That's not in there. The EMS contract, is not in there. We've contributed, since I've been here, I think we contributed once, which was last year. We contributed, I think the county, has been paying for that service the past. It was at one time the city of Pearsall and, Dillon that were helping pay into that agreement. I have not heard from the county, regarding that agreement. There's also, again,
We do have money set aside for it, though, right?
no, there's no.
Yeah.
So we're at our budget cap, so, I mean, whether we make increases, we gotta decrease other things, or we gotta increase revenue, which is maybe tax more, or.
What was the amount that we usually set
We
aside?
budgeted $75,000, and the $75,000 was provided last year. And I think it's been a while. I don't remember, it's been at least 4 or 5 years. I think the county, if I remember correctly, issued an RFP. They have a new provider. I think they paid a little over $500,000, give or take $500,000 for that service, and that covers the entire county. They have not made a request. I have made a request to the county for their support for the TERS program. I have not heard back with that, but it is something that, to me, on that end, both ways, again, there needs to be some discussions, in my opinion, regarding, who's doing what, and my opinion, and I agree with kind of the discussions Mayor and I, it shouldn't be a tit for tat type of thing. It should be, hey, we're either gonna do this or we're not. And so that's part of some of the things that aren't budgeted, that we need to consider. I'm trying to think of what else was excluded. I know I gave a list of some of the items that were excluded. I have to go back and look at.
In council, I would like to see that budgeted in there because it's contractual. It is a contract agreement, and I have reached out to the judge a couple of times, and her schedule is busy and my schedule is busy, but I wanted to sit down and talk about that. And two, I think the county budget's online. I was gonna look at that and kind of see how their monies flow, especially to the TERS thing. And I concur with the city manager. It's not a tit for tat kind of thing, you know, give us ours and we'll give you yours, but it is contractual, and so if we sign the agreement, we need to at least make allocations for it, and then have a conversation with the county.
Part of what we need to discuss again is just that, is just the, and again, I know there are discussions that should be happening, that have not happened. Again, who's paying what, right? Whether it's city, county, you know, the biggest, and I'll say this, the folks that see a lot of the service but pay, or maybe the revenue, but there hasn't been much payment, is the hospital. Hospital is the biggest provider. I mean, we give them, that's their business, is EMS services. Most people don't wanna pay until 911 service because you lose money. That's why you're paying the service. The folks that actually make money, and I know this because I've worked in other communities that this is the same argument another town I worked at, is the people that are doing the transfers to San Antonio, the transfers in ambulances, those make money, and the ones that do the helicopter flights. And that's why you have 2 helicopters, because those make money. Those are money makers that we regretfully don't have, but that's not what we don't generate revenue, the hospital generates revenue for that. The other thing on our end, again, we haven't had discussions on, I mentioned it to the mayor and I mentioned it to the council, is just, quite frankly, my concern, or just to me, a general concern over the jail. You know, we're talking public safety, and we're talking, you know, these are some of the things we need, but quite frankly, I don't, you know, I'm looking, maybe more learning what it takes to be able to be more effective with the utilization of the jail. And again, I recognize it's the county responsibility, but it's also a responsibility to be able to use that jail for people here in Pearson. And that's a challenge when, and again, it's not my place, I don't believe to tell the sheriff or anybody else how they should use that facility. But it's saying that if those beds are being rented out to federal inmates or other folks, other entities, and we're not able to put city inmates in there, that to me is a concern.
Yes.
And so, just wanna make sure that.
Are we not able to do it?
Well, that's the question I think we're at, is, I don't know.
We need some communication, and I've reached out as well, and to the sheriff and the chief deputy to kind of get some data on that, what it is, and so that I need to follow up.
I thought there was already.
Because what
I
I
think
hear
there
is,
was talks on the
what I hear from
table.
the police chief is a lot of the things that happen, it's the folks that are continuously having problems with this, your problem children. There's maybe, I don't know, maybe half a dozen in town, I don't know how many.
He's right. Chief's right there.
Oh, I thought you told me the problem person. Let's not bother him. But anyway, Chief,
But I had lunch with deputy chief, the deputy sheriff, probably about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and he did indicate that there were more beds available when we were talking specifically about that. So, chief, the question is, how many times do you get denied jail space when you take a candidate to the jail? Currently, let's say in the last month.
I don't have a definitive answer for you as far as a specific number, but we did have one this past weekend. It was a small charge, I guess, when you put it in the big scope of things. It was a possession of marijuana charge, and the guy was rejected.
And what was it? What was it, your rejection rate, like 6 months ago, a year ago? What's your rejection rate
It's
now?
definitely gotten better. The jails, I'm not gonna say that they're rejecting every person that we have, but still for low-level offenses like that,
Chief,
I bel- yes, sir.
one of the discussions, the question I had was I think what we and I discussed, if I remember correctly, was I think a lot of the folks that are continuously having problems, that you're having problems with, are folks that basically are not, I don't know, that they're rejected, if you will, if that's what you want to call it. But do you find that the people that you're having problems with are continuously out of jail?
Yes, and I can't put a finger on anybody and say that it's specifically the jail that is, that is doing it or not doing it, or whether it's the courts. I just know that we deal with many of the same people pretty often.
So basically, when you stop them, it's like, well, what are we doing it for? They're gonna let them out.
It becomes frustrating at times
I know.
where we deal with the same people doing the same thing over and over.
And so that begs the question, is it the jail or is it judicial system? Do they get in and then do they get bonded out, or are they released because they, that's the question, is it?
Yeah, I believe it's all gonna be on a case-by-case basis for that. I just know that we often deal with the same people doing the same thing over and over.
So at the jail part, are you getting rejection from the jail staff? And
Yes,
who-
and what, right now, how we handle it, like, we did have one that was initially rejected on Saturday night.
Uh-huh.
I won't go into specifics, but the person was rejected and my sergeant notified me, so I contacted the jail lieutenant and he took care of it and they accepted the fee
So basically, you have to call in order for them to get it done.
on some cases, yes, ma'am.
Mayor, how soon can you get, how soon would you want to sit with the?
I'm sorry,
the
say
judge?
that again?
How soon would you want to sit with the judge and bring these to the table, all these discussions to the table?
These are major issues.
That's, City Manager?
I'm, what's today?
Monday,
Uh,
today, Monday, August 14th.
all day Monday today. Let's see. I know it's gonna be busy Wednesday, maybe tomorrow, I could do tomorrow. If the judge, I mean, I'd like for them to be prepared too, whoever we're gonna meet with for this.
Yeah,
judge.
I'm gonna say probably maybe the week of the 21st, because we do have more budget workshops.
You guys are having this
16,
week,
17.
right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. So we could do the
Okay.
21st. But
Um,
22nd, 23rd.
If you guys wanna convene, on that any time, if y'all wanna convene again to discuss some of these issues. I know one time, it's been a while since the entities have convened. I think y'all did it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe about 5 years ago, and I don't know where the meeting was held. What was the meeting held with the?
We had one at the Civic Center, one at the library community room, and then one at, Diddley City Hall.
I would want to bring one here with the commissioners, with the council and the commissioners here, and the school district.
That'd be good.
If it's just Dr. Rodriguez, it's Dr. Rodriguez.
Yeah.
But all three entities need to face together in the same.
That'd be awesome.
Because,
I'm gonna be out the week of the 21st, maybe could we do something the week of the 28th?
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna be on
The week of the 21st?
the 23rd and 24th. I'll be out.
28
Can we
is,
do the 28th is the last week of August, 28th, 29th, 30th. 28th is a Monday, 29th is a Tuesday.
I say the 29th, because we leave for conference 31st, the 29th, the 30th.
So the 29th is a
yeah.
good day?
29th,
Okay.
because 28th is Commissioner's Court, so the 29th.
Okay.
And I think they had some issues. I think they were talking about, some assistance with animal control. Trying to remember, animal shelter, remember,
Some street lights.
some lights and things of that sort. I don't
Why
know.
don't we do that, and why don't we bring it back, these questions, you guys
Wait,
look at
no,
this.
let's make it I think the 28th is better, 29th, I'm sorry, 29th is
Tuesday the
Commissioner's-
29th,
Tuesday is Commissioner's.
have another budget workshop, and address all your notes, address those, and then we can kind of come together. Fred, that might be a good time too, kind of address the debt, give us a good debt picture, a good summary we could look at. See, 'cause I concur exactly how we're gonna pay for this.
Yeah, because in the EMS, I'm curious to know where does Dilly stand on this as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they get services.
and I think they, last year. I think they paid, I think, I want to say around $25,000, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
25.
But it's yeah, so we all got paid into, it's just, in that agreement, we probably will have, I can share with you if you want, I can share with you all the agreements we have with the county. We have interlocal agreements, several interlocal agreements, from this to, I'm trying to think of all the agreements we have, but there's, I have a whole folder of agreements that we have. Now, whether we, to Mayor's point, whether we, quite frankly, whether we abide by them or not, whether it's the city or county.
And I'm gonna try to sit down with the judge, we'll face to face before that meeting. Okay, with that, we'll set another workshop for August 29th at 6 o'clock at City Hall. And I think other than that, if there's no other questions, we will go ahead and take a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, the meeting ended when we lost the quorum,
Okay?
so we don't.
Our city attorney says we don't need a motion, y'all are free to go. All right, thank you guys very much.
Recording stopped.
Appreciate